Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the LFM Case King Pro Series. My name is Olaf, aka Bob's Racing, and I'll be your commentator for tonight as we're heading on to round 4 out of a lot. We've got 12 weeks of racing, currently week 4, and you can see on the screen we've got Kyalami up for today. Last week we were out at Paul Ricard. Got some cool results for you right there on the screen. Should be on right now. Paul Ricard was a 20 into a 40-minute race, and these were the results for the final 40-minute race. And here are the standings. Top 15 now on your screen. Lots of points being grabbed for the top 10 scorers as well. Results from Split 1, obviously, as this is going to be the stream for Split 1. So we'll have the results right now rolling on through. After that, we're going to take a quick look at the standings, and after this race it's going to be on to Barcelona next week to get some more points on the board as well. 60-minute race. After that it's Monza again with 20 into 40 minutes again for the total of 60 minutes. And for today we have Kyalami with a 60-minute race as well. Look at the standings for this series. We have Delfante currently first place, 135 points lead over Groenewald. In second place, Fox in third. Looks to be... these aren't the right standings. Are these the right standings? These are the right standings. I have the other standings because Fox is currently in Split 2, which put Campanella in third place. Apologies for that. I just have the combined standings, whereas these are a lot of them from Split 1. That being said, and these are the actual standings that you've got on your screen right now. We're going to scroll all the way through to into the 100. We're not going to watch all that because the qualifying session has already started. We have a 15-minute qualifying session here at Kyalami, followed by a 60-minute race. And the weather is supposedly quite warm, so we're going to have to take a look at that as we're looking into the live action. Should be right on. There we go. There we have it. Qualifying session. Currently 12.5 minutes remaining. 2.5 minutes already set. No lap times. No big lap times on the board. We have Sam Gasquel out in front. And take a look at what he does and what he is up to. And we should have a track map somewhere on the screen. And let's see where that is. If I can make that happen. Should be on somewhere now. If it's not, I'll try and see if I can get that up somewhere in the meantime. But we are at the downhill, I should say, all the way up in the track. Highest point, very, very slow speed into this fast left-hander. Sam Gasquel is going to be one of the first drivers out to make their lap stick. One of the fastest drivers as well, as we saw from the standings and from the previous race. Gasquel grabbing some of the wins, some of the victories as in this series. A little bit wide there over the death curb in the final few corners onto the start-finish straight. And this qualifying session is going to be one to watch, as this is a track where small margins matter, as Caracas puts in the first lap time a 140.3 and Gasquel instantly to the 39.7. So that is a very fast lap from Gasquel. First lap out, instantly into the 39s. The air temperature is 29 degrees, as we could expect from South Africa at 4 p.m. Track temperature 36 degrees Celsius. So it's quite warm out there. Big challenge for the drivers. I'm gonna try and see if I can get the window open for the actual timings on the tower. Not sure if I can. Should have something going up here. A little bit of an apology for the graphics, for the graphics department, as this will be my first time using ACC TV and its overlay, so small apology for that one. I'll try to figure things out as we go. Gasquel still holding on first place, as Sullivan has gone in front of Caracas, is in P2 with a 40.1. Still Gasquel the first driver into the 39s as we watch him go on this lap. Few drivers in the up already, as a Minar currently fourth place with a 40.1. Got a few tenths quicker as a lap so far. Onto the death curb, small break. Actually very brave to to do that. Usually do a little bit wider as he breaks out and backs out and tries for a new one. Delfante now up to P4. as Caracas goes to P2. So Caracas just finished the lap into the 40.130, about 7 thousandths ahead of O'Sullivan. Gasquel on his way as well into the first sector with a faster time than he had before. And all of these drivers now improving. So we got Gasquel in first place, Caracas second, Delphante up to second, dropping Caracas back down again. And O'Sullivan just crossing the line right behind Delphante to take the position right back. They're doing back-to-back laps, and that is probably going to be very, very heavy for these tires. Honzik putting it up to P4. Really fighting with these top runners, not in the top of the standings, but will be doing a little bit of damage to the point tally. Caracas in 5th place. Let's see Peruano up to 6th. That's a 40.1. All these drivers, by the way, very, very quick. From P4 down to P7, it's within 6 tenths. Oh, 600ths, I should say. That's even worse. It's so close into the top places currently in qualifying. O'Sullivan in second, into the 39s as well. 39.940. So very, very close for all these drivers in this qualifying session. Paduano to pull off a little bit to the side. A few drivers seeing do that. Gonna go out once more on that second stint. Clean tires halfway through this qualifying session. With quite a few laps on the board already. Delphante, a few fast laps to his name as well. A 40.1 and a 40.020. Currently about even from the looks of it. With this previous lap, as Gasquel goes even quicker, and that's a 39.540 as Minar just laps in with a 39.772. 4 drivers now as Groenewald does the same, and Manzenko as well. More and more drivers into the 39s. Currently the top 5 is in the 39s, but Gasquel takes the cake 2 tenths quicker than Minar in second place. That's a confident position to have in this qualifying session, and it's going to be a 60-minute race, so not everything is won on qualifying, but it will be very, very important. Brown currently 27th going over the line, and that's up to 5th place. That's an insane improvement. He was all the way down. I was trying to scroll down a little bit to see who else was improving in the back of the grid, and very happy I did. Caught this 39.85 on the back end of that lap. And Campanella now over the line as well. Doesn't improve in position, doesn't improve, improves in time just a tiny bit. As you can see there on the times on the bottom right, 40.34, after that 27. So very, very close on the previous lap, but still small improvement in time, but not an improvement in position. And the positions is what you need in the end. Caracas currently in that final sector, big braking zone into the right-hander. Going to see a couple of different lines. Maybe not in qualifying, but we will 100% in the race. Caracas on a big improvement now. Very wide over the grass. Small slide over the death curb corner. Final turn, very wide out as well. Onto the gas, onto the pedal. Let's see where he can place his car. And this will be P6 for Caracas. A very, very nice lap as well. Everyone's currently returning into the pits, going out for some new laps. As we look in the back of the grid, we see Donk as well in the Aston. P26 with an improvement. He's currently on his way up the hill from the looks of it. A little bit of a blind braking point there, as you usually use the Marshall post on the left-hand side as a brake marker as you're heading on to the negative incline, I should say. It's basically like you go up and then you go flat, so it's sort of like you're going down, which loses a little bit of the grip, so you have to be careful for that. Again, this right-hander, we can see some inside lines, some big sends being thrown in right here. For the same for the hairpin in the uphill that we just saw as well. A little bit of the curb being touched, and that is seemingly over the line, and a lap time invalidated for Donk, and that is into the wall. Frustration. That is very, very recognizable if anyone's ever driven Kyalami and hit the curb on the final bit. Gasquel currently first place with a banger of a lap. Still at 39.5 as a benchmark. Currently the top 8 within the 39s. Brenham in 9th place with a 40.060. Very, very, very close into the 39s as well. So we're going to be looking at all the different times that we're going to be seeing in the final few minutes. 5 minutes remaining on this session, which means you can only get a few laps in. Gasquel a little bit down on his time, as is everyone that's currently driving in the top 5. They're not doing much of an improvement so far, but maybe it's found in the final corners. It definitely is not for Gascal. A little bit more time loss here. Delphante is on an improvement, though. First sector of the lap being done in the Honda. The Honda, very, very fast car on this track, as has been for quite a while. So Delphante is going to be looking to make that Honda a statement. Going a little bit further up. Everyone else not improving. Minnaar down over a second as he's going to start a new lap. Probably backed out in those final corners and goes in full send for a new with a new run and up, trying to see if he can make some of those moves for first place. Right now we're looking at Delphante currently running up the hill and going down the hill now. He's trying to make his way up to the top 5. Currently looks to be leading the standings. This Honda, like I said, fast car on this track, has to make it work. And maybe it's just not a strong track for Delphante. It's not everything about the car. Sometimes it is, but most of the times it's about the driver and how they can hold their ground on a track like this. Kyalami, a track with a lot of small margins, like we saw on that corner before. Delphante backing out of this one. Very smart. This is one of the only tracks where you can really do something like that. Just go absolutely full send, final corner, back out. Or make a small mistake, then back out. And then try again. If you see a track like next week, we got Barcelona on the calendar. It's not really, you don't really see drivers doing that in the final few turns in the small chicanes. If they make a tiny mistake, you can't really set yourself up perfectly to do the next big lap. Same for Monza, the final corner. Monza, the track they're going to see in 2 weeks. Also going to be very difficult to do that. So Kyalami, one of the unique tracks for this Groenewald, into this difficult section, the most difficult corner that we're going to see today. This right-hander, small brake taps, big sand, is up on his time, and he only needs 2 thousandths to beat O'Sullivan in 3rd place to get that position back from him. Start a little bit further ahead of the 2nd row. Is he going to do it though? Yes, he is. That is up to P3, as we see O'Sullivan up to P2, and it's Minnaar being dropped down. So it's very, very close. O'Sullivan even faster, just slightly. The difference is now 15 thousandths of a second. And the margins are very, very, very small, except for Gascal, who's comfortably up ahead in P1 with about a 2/10 lead over O'Sullivan. About half a tenth of that cut down now by O'Sullivan on that previous lap. But Gascal being very, very happy out in front. Delphante not able to find some improvement. We see Schneekenberger does have an improvement on his way to grab a 39 for himself. It's about 2/10 all the way up to P9 for him. It's currently P15, so that's 6 positions in just 2/10 of a second. And see where he can drop his car, and this Ford jumps up to P11, which is a great lap. Not where he wanted to be, probably within the top 10, but unfortunately just not able to do it. Delphante on a run now as well. Small improvement. Minnaar has been overtaken for a little bit. It's going to be rounding this final turn to maybe take back 1 or 2 positions, up a 10th, which would put him in P2. Crossing the line, and that is P2, exactly, a 39.697. Great laps. Got 1 more lap for him on the timing sheet as we have 45 seconds remaining. So everyone who starts a lap now will have to keep going. O'Sullivan backing out, thinking this is the best he can do, and he'll be out of the qualifying session. That is a 39.732 for O'Sullivan. Same for Brown. He's out with 39.850, currently in P5, but all eyes ahead on Gascal. He's going to have to improve a little bit, maybe, because Minnaar is also still on a lap, not improving as much as he wants to. It's about 1.5 tenths, and that's Gascal off the track into the gravel. And that's his qualifying over. And all eyes now, all turn to Minnaar. So the checkered flag will be out in about 5 seconds. And everyone who starts this lap will be out then. The timer hit 0. Checkered flag has fallen. And it has fallen for Gascal, for Brown, and for Rakhmatov. All drivers very, very high up in the standings. They're currently finishing up their qualifying. Del Fonte as well does not improve. Currently P7 with a 39.9. Minar needs a big improvement in these final few corners if he wants to grab that pole position away. But second place is still a very, very, very good start. Something he could be really proud of. No backing out now through these final turns. Going to give it everything he's got. No mistakes now over that final exit. 39.6 is what he's had. And a 39.6 is what he gets. Just a tiny bit faster. Look at that. 1/100th of a second quicker. But that is not enough to beat Gasquel for this pole position. Groenewald now the only one realistically that can beat him. A lot of other drivers currently out but not improving. Groenewald is down about 2/10 in the standings. Take a look at what he performs and what he puts on the board out of this final turn. Doesn't seem like he's improving enough to make that stick. Can he get one position though? No, he cannot. That is a 10th slower than what he wanted to. And that is 4th place locked down for Groenewald. And we do see a lot of drivers already taking the checkered flag. One of the drivers still out. Not improving as much. Also needs about a 10th and a half to get in a position. But that will be P9 solidified for Brenham, as that is the checkered flag. We got our qualifying over. We'll have to look towards the race as Sam Gasquel takes away pole position. And we should be able to take a little grid walk, as is done by LFM. Basically always. Groenewald currently. That is the wrong overlay, as it appears. Let's see if it goes to the right one. That is not the right. That is not the right order of things. That is definitely not the right order. I'm gonna try and see if I can make this work. If you give me 1 second, I should be able to figure this out. Let's see. We should have some grid walk action going on. I have the... There is the right thingy. There it is. Gasquel just hadn't updated it. Gasquel in first place in the Ford. Second place, another Ford with Minar. Very fast time as well. Very close margins. O'Sullivan here in third place. Guess what? It's another Ford. It's a Ford Fiesta out in front. Down to 4th place, Groenewald. And it's another Ford. The two front rows are filled with Fords. Manzenko in 5th place. And the Honda trying to shake things up a bit. Down to 6th, we have Kevin Brown. And the Aston Martins. Caracas in 7th place. Back to the Fords. We should have the liveries all updated. As we see that with Del Fonte. Very beautiful Honda livery in 8th place. On to 9th, Brenham. We saw on that final lap. Not doing enough of an improvement to get the positions. 10th, Honzik. Also in a Honda, good car for this track. So we're going to have to see if they perform anything better in the race. See Schneekenberger in the Ford. P11. Rakhmatov. High up in the standings as well. A little bit lower in the grid. P12 for him. Paduano in 13th place. Another Aston Martin. Lots of popular tracks, popular cars. It's a Ford, the Astons and the Hondas. As we see our first Ferrari from Campanella. Way up high in the standings as well from Visceral Esports. Vrij with another Ferrari in 15th place. Then we have Berrier in 16th. For the row up 17th, it's Foch. Then we have 18th. It's Donk from NL Esports. Another Aston Martin on that grid. So we're almost at 2/3. We see Escorcia in another Ford. So lots of Ford drivers. Godowski high up in the standings as well. A little bit further down. BSUK Esports, the number 20 Ford starting in, or number 10 Ford starting in 20th place. Colossi, number 21, is starting in 21st. Van der Meer in another Honda. Beautiful livery, by the way. I must say, at P22. 23 is for Piccolo, the first McLaren that we're seeing on the grid, and probably the only one. It's a very horrible car to drive around this track. Crush in P24. P25 for Nuts, and as we are looking to be on our way for the formation lap, and we'll have to take a look at that in just a second. Tadic in P26. We're almost through with the grid. Zaza in the Ferrari, number 29 in P27. Van Rossum, number 22 in P28. Then we have Herpel in P29. And finally, on the back of the grid, we see another Ferrari in P30 for Krauk. And that being said, that's the entire grid. Now we're heading on to that formation lap. Gascal on his way into the first turn. He's going to look to gain the lead and extend the lead while trying to fight off the drivers behind. First seed for Gascal. We'll have first place locked in, but not if Minar has anything to say about it. 60 minutes is the timer on the top of your screen. On the top left, you can see the turn name right next to that as well. So we know exactly where the drivers are. The bottom right, all the information you need on the driver we're currently watching. Their name, their car, their team, their position, the previous laps, and of course, their car number or their seed as they are in LFM. The higher the seed, the higher elo you have currently, so you know exactly who you're up against. So the Gascal is currently driver number 1, car number 1. Caracas, driver number 2 in P7. It's the next in the order of elo. So you can see who is known to be the fast driver and who is a shake-up. And we see that from P3, car number 11, Groenewald. Not supposed to be there from the looks of it. Same from Brown, number 27, but has done a very, very good job on the qualifying session. I see Groenewald currently supposed to be around P12, and this is how you can see that they've done a very, very good job of placing their car in a position that, according to the LFM elo counter, should not work, but has done it anyway. So big ups to those drivers. Everyone starting ahead of their position. That's just a very, very good stuff. So Gascal is going to be looking to do some magic, working some stuff into turn 1. It's a very, very long run. Some of these tracks on the calendar have a very short line. Last week, for example, Paul Ricard, we saw 2 starts that were very, very close to the first turn, and now we can see one that's very, very late. Turn 13. The Crocodiles. Beautiful section to race through. And then we have the difficult corner that we're going to see throughout this event. Cheetah. Very fast, very dangerous. And into the final turn, turn 15, onto the start finish line. Going to go over to the Helicam to have a little bit of a better view of what the action is about. Eyes on Gascal, the number 1 car, on the left side, on the top of your screen. Going towards the green flag, going towards the racing line. Minar in second place, right next to him. Who gets it and who doesn't? As we're green at Kyalami, Gascal, very nice on the power, but Minar, real close behind everyone, is still pretty much equal as Minar's trying to squeeze Gascal towards the inside. No inch being given. Gascal pushing it a little bit back. We'll take the inside lines, about 3 wide, a little bit further back, and look at that. Just a moment, but Gascal holding on to P1, very, very nicely done. Minar squeezing a little bit, but not enough for him to make a move. Delfante behind, jumping up a few positions all the way up to P6 now. He's done a great job making that Honda work off the line. A little bit further back, we see Brown being chased down by Caracas. So going on to a fast car on a side-by-side now for a few drivers behind. That appears to be Fry and Campanella. Campanella on the outside line now. Will have to push his way through. A little bit of touching on the left-hander. And Frey is still ahead. Another left-hander coming up and will claim that position. If Campanella doesn't stick his nose in, stuck his nose in, but has to back out because that would have been contact. Frey now with a compromised line. 3 cars behind him. Campanella, Rakhmatov and Barrier now 3 wide as they're going up the hill. And that's Barrier shifting on through onto the hairpin. Almost grabbing 2 positions, but 1 will have to do for now. Barrier up 2 positions from the starting positions. Great job. He's gonna try and defend from Rakhmatov. He doesn't want to lose this position. This is the inside line that I talked about before. It's a defensive line you can take, and it's a very good exit. But you can be caught off guard if you stay on the outside for just a little bit too long. So Rakhmatov almost getting hit by a Scorchia and going over the grass a little bit adventurous as we look behind. A little bit more adventure happening as Donk is fighting at the moment. Car being pushed wide. That looks to be Piccolo as Crush is now up a position, and it's a car part. We're going back to the helicam once again to see all this action. Donk up ahead in the white car. Crush a little bit to the left. He's going to hold that inside line and send it up the inside as Piccolo has dropped down 1 position. Kalasai is almost going to be doing the same. Will be having his nose ahead of Piccolo, but he's got the inside line for turn 3. And there's a small tap there to the rear of Donk, which sends him a little bit deeper than he wants to, but will keep that place. And the front runners are all still in the same spot, and that's why we're looking at this fight on the back. Kalasai has got a little bit of a kerfuffle going on. Foch getting past as well. Some great racing here in the midfield. As Foch now up to P21. He's lost a few positions from the start, but this Ford is really finding his way. Lots of gravel being touched there as well. That's Piccolo just dropping down a few places, and he's now between Foch and Honzik, who are not going to make this man's life very easy. Lots of pushing, lots of shoving here in the midfield. Should have seen the back of the grid already, because we're looking at P22 as it stands. Small trains being formed here and there. Crush now 7/10, 6/10 behind Donk, who's through all the action. Dropped back a second behind Kodowski. So there's some gaps being formed, but this train is still going strong. Donk the leader of it. Minar is getting a little bit closer to Gaskel. We're still looking at this fight here in the midfield, because this is way more intense than what we're seeing in the top. Although I'm going to have to look at the top 10 for a second, or P10 I should say. Brenham currently in a 3-way fight with Schneekenberger. Tries to get past, but Peduano is going to have to say something about that. Schneekenberger a little bit wide though on turn 1. Brenham not able to get past, not able to park his car where he wanted to park it. Paduano not able to capitalize on this, and Frey is just about to join this fight. Schneekenberger now a second behind Caracas. Small gap, as you can see on the screen, being formed ahead of Brenham, or ahead of Schneekenberger, I should say. And Caracas now following Brown. Minar not able to get close. So Minar still half a second behind Gaskel, who's been leading this race. Not set the fastest lap yet. That's from Minar, a 40.4. So we're already into the low 40s in terms of race pace, which is, I should say, absolutely insane. It's already going very quick here in the Case King Pro Series. Currently week 4. They've all warmed up from the first few rounds. Brenham losing ground on Schneekenberger. Now has 4 cars behind him to worry about. Paduano sending it on the inside, and there is the line that we looked at. It's a defensive line, but also a very good offensive line. Paduano now has to look behind. He's got a Ferrari in his mirrors. Who's got another Ferrari in his mirrors? It's Frey and Campanella on their way to set in the attack, but they have to watch out as well, because Barrier is right behind in P14. Very close midfield fighting around here. Look back at P21, we see Honzik in P22 currently side by side with Piccolo. Piccolo has been dropping down the order ever since lap 1. Honzik now taking advantage of the pace of that McLaren. Should have seen the lack of pace of that McLaren. Can be looking on the inside into turn 1. Piccolo a little bit faster, a little bit deeper on the brakes. We'll have the inside line for turn 2. Let's see who holds it for turn 4, and that is Honzik past. Beautiful move by the number 5 Honda to gain P22. Great racing out here So we see Paduano now behind Brenham. White car for Paduano. The Aston Martin pushing his way through. He's lost Fry behind just a tiny bit. Got a little bit more space behind him to focus on the attack. The first 6 minutes have passed. The first 3 laps have gone. The track, the drivers, the cars have reached some form of equilibrium with little action. Gonna be looking at some of those replays in the start of the race. A little bit before, a little bit after all the action settles a bit more, because there's still quite small gaps everywhere on the grid. I want to see some more overtakes before we head on to the replays, to the action of that first lap, the first few corners, which I must say was absolutely insane. It was mental to see all those drivers going side by side, 3 wide. To just have another fastest lap by Gascal, who, believe it or not, just got beat by Minnaar again. As you can see, the 40.0 being touched by Minnaar on the previous lap is gaining a little bit of ground on Gascal on the lead. Paduano not able to gain enough ground to get the overtake done, as Fudge is going to be looking to do the same. They got past Piccolo just a few moments ago. Fudge has lost a few spaces from the looks of it from the start. He's now a few tenths behind Kalasai. He's got a full second ahead of him. Small gap, as you can see. So this Ferrari coming on through now. He's got about a second ahead of him, which means that Fudge and Hontic can go double team the Ferrari number 21 car, currently in 20th place. Doesn't want to lose it, but might just. So there's 2 cars behind him that are on rapid pace. Last lap, just a few tenths quicker. Or I should say slower. It's Kalasai who's gone off the tracks at that lap time, but 40.9 didn't count, and his fastest currently 41.8. So the data not reflecting his current pace. Fortunate with a 41.0 on the previous lap, which was his fastest lap. If you look out in front, it's about a second of a difference in pace. So that's what we're looking at currently. The difference between the front of the field and a little bit further back is Knudsen. Loses a place. Out to Van der Meer. Is going to look to get one back inside line. Being sent. Cautious on the brakes. Leaves enough space. And Van der Meer to get on through. Good restraint being shown by the Ford as Gascal drops in another fastest lap. But believe it or not, Minnaar once again with a 40.0. Once again, quicker and quicker lap times. They're really getting into the zone. As we do see Krauk being slow on the grid, losing some positions, and lost out by about 2 seconds. Might have had a small moment into those final turns, and will be down to last place. Sarpel takes away P29 going into the first turn. Minnaar's built up a good gap behind. Sullivan just over a second away from P2. Minnaar going to be chasing down Gascal. Very, very close now, just a few tenths until he catches the number 1 car in P1. 2 Fords. Just a small gap in between them. Minnaar losing some time now, might be because of the dirty air in the corners, but will nevertheless try and match the pace as he's done for the past few laps. And every single lap has just been a few hundredths quicker than Gascal, keeping that fastest lap to his name. But this lap he might have made a small mistake. The gap has increased. Though Sullivan's trying to set in the chase. He's going to be chased himself. Monzenko in P4, Groenewald in P5. Even closer. So they're all just filing through. Very difficult track to overtake. We've seen a few overtakes, a few brave moves, a few tries, a few attempts. None of them really stuck as much. Last lap, Gascal just a tiny bit quicker. That's what he wants to see. Caracas in P8. Looking to set up a move against Brown. Work up his way. That's the number 2 car. The second seed. Knows that he shouldn't be in P8. Knows that he should be way, way out up front. So I believe he has won a few races before in this season. Looking to make a few more. It's only week 4, so a lot can happen. And when we looked at the standings, The top positions were all very, very close as well. Only a few hundred points separating some of those drivers out in front. And some of them not even being here. Some of the drivers are down in split 2, where you still can make a lot of points. That's where the difference comes in if you're fast enough for split 1. Or at least if you have the elo for split 1. You gain 1400 points for a victory, whereas in split 2 you only get 920 points. That's 480 points you can lose just on competition. That's something that the drivers want to look out for. Trying to get into that split 1. Trying to get that victory under their belts. Campanella now P13. Very close to Fry, who was chasing down Paduano just a few laps ago, just 2 or 3 laps ago. It's now almost a second and a half clear, over a second and a half clear. That's a big, big gap to the car ahead. 2 Ferraris now going in tandem through that final turn. We haven't seen any deaths yet through this. Small bit of grass being touched by Fry. He's now working his way through. Gonna look to lose not more time. Campanella will undoubtedly have the slipstream into the first turn. Small look into the mirrors, making himself wide, and there's the send into the first turn. It's almost got his nose in. Fry just a little bit further ahead, keeps the position, but that was one dangerous move. Fry a little bit out of shape, out of the first turn. Gap in front, getting even bigger. That was a very, very ballsy move there from Campanella. We're going to be watching this train, see how it unfolds, because Rakhmatov is right behind as well, so the gap has closed down. If Campanella now makes a mistake while trying to overtake, it's going to be game over. So Rakhmatov will try to get the place. Barrier will try to get the place. It's 2 places down then from Campanella. No, I mean, it's a probability, of course. And that is my dishwasher. Apologies for that. Campanella now trying to see another opportunity. Breaks a little bit earlier. Might look for a good exit here. And a good run onto the fast right-hander. Big braking zone. A fast left-hander, I should say. And the big braking zone into the right-hander. Gap just not there. Or, I mean, gap there too much. So no chances being taken by Campanella. A little bit of a move by Rakhmatov, as it looked like. Barrier right behind now. To the fast section. Seems like it's become 2 small battles of 2 cars. A little bit of a bigger gap between Campanella and Rakhmatov. If you look out in front, Minar still not faster than Gaskel. So we don't have to worry too much about that. Caracas still behind as well. There is the look. That was Rakhmatov sticking out his nose. Probably where it doesn't belong just yet. That's what Campanella is going to think. He's going to want to try some things on his own. Into the left-hander. Off turn 4. I'm going to have a barbecue for himself in that turn, Campanella. Getting close. Not close enough. Like I said, it's very difficult to overtake on this track. It's very hefty on the tires as well. So they'll be looking towards a pit stop. Somewhere starting in 5 minutes, as there's 1 mandatory stop, and they don't have to change the tires, but they will have to refuel with a fixed refuel time of 25 seconds. But as this track is very, very dangerous on the tires, they can burn down really quickly, and you won't feel it until you're 40 minutes in, and that is when the window shuts. The window is going to be opening 20 minutes in. It's going to be open for 20 minutes, and then closes with 20 minutes remaining. So it's exactly halfway through for a third of the race. The drivers here definitely want to look for some of those tires. Campanella's been on the dirty air of Fry for the entirety of the race. Big ups to Fry, though, for keeping with Paduano as well as he has. Gap hasn't increased too much. Just a few tenths on that previous lap. But he's been making some good pace. Getting close to keeping the pace with the cars ahead. No big moves anywhere on the grid as it stands. Minar still really close. Is looking for it, though. A tiny, tiny bit. Just not enough to make anything happen. Unfortunately. Still just a tiny bit too far off. So we head back over to this fight. You see Honzik and Foch really close side by side. On through the second turn, there's contact. That is Foch over the grass Will keep the position though, but does have a little bit less exit speed out of that turn. That's Honzik with a bit of contact, taking the position. Don't think Fudge will be very happy with that one. But I believe these two can battle it out on the track. Stewards will have a look at that, I think, and see who's in the wrong there. Or they might just keep it as is. Because that was a little bit of touch from Honzik and Fudge. They're still doing quite well. Currently in P21 and P22. Trying to build their way up. Honzik, the number 5 car, should be way up in the positions, but obviously if drivers from all the way back are all the way up in front, that also means that drivers from all the way front are going to be all the way in the back. Just about 11 positions from the start. Don't know if we can see some replay of that. Car number 5, we do see a little accident. Let's see if we can catch that one. Car number 5 accident at the start of the race. See if we can catch that. Into the first few turns. Turn 4 here. This is at the start of the race. It's a little bit side by side. Still looks fine. Doesn't appear to have anything to do with an accident from the looks of it. So I don't think that is that big of an issue. And we do see a little bit of a danger icon on Escortia, who is now in P17. Doesn't look to be anything major though. It's Campanella back in this fight. Most entertaining one I've seen in this race so far. Rakhmatov making a small mistake, had the space behind, but Barrier catching up quite well. Pit window's going to open in a few minutes, and this is where we see the strategy going to come in. Minar stuck behind Gasquel, matching in pace. Doesn't appear to be getting anywhere closer. Doesn't seem to be getting in range for an overtake. So we're going to have to see if he's going for the undercut and allowing Gasquel to get cleaner tires towards the end of the race, but just gamble on the fact that he can go faster now. Or has he taken a little bit more fuel on the start of this race because he knew he wasn't going to get past Gasquel and go for the overcut and have cleaner tires himself towards the end? That is what we're going to find out in, I believe, a few minutes' time. Going to see a little bit of a bell curve. Some drivers pitting in the first few minutes. And then we see a few more drivers pitting in the next few minutes. And then a bunch of drivers pitting right around the halfway mark. And then we see less drivers again pitting for the final minutes of the window. That's going to make things interesting in today's race. I don't think we're going to see many more overtakes on the track. Lots of battling though. Lots of pushing and pulling, it would seem. Fry and Campanella, the Ferraris on your screen now, just disappeared. There they are back again. They've been real close. But no real moves being made. Same here for P14 and 15. Rakhmatov and Barrier. Very close the entire time, all the time within a second. Within half a second even. But not a single move being made. Same thing out in front. Minar, small mistake now though. Losing a bit of ground. But everyone else, the gaps are just slightly increasing, but here in the midfield, they're about the same. Not a lot of overtaking being done. Honzik now has caught up to Kalasai. A little bit faster. Going to the inside line. This is the line that I was talking about. There we go. There we have the overtake on the number 21 car. Going to hold on for just a little while longer, but this is a dangerous corner. You don't want to go side by side here. Are they going to dare it? A little bit of touching, a little bit of rubbing. And that is Kalasai being pushed onto the grass. Fudge going on through as well, trying to see if he can make it a double team. Like I talked about before, Fudge a little bit wide as well on that final turn on the exit. Kalasai losing one, maybe losing 2 positions. Has the probability of that second place loss. Fudge a little bit too far ahead. And Kalasai now has Piccolo to worry about as well. He's going to be sending it up the inside. One's one place. Almost shot for 2. And in the end, stayed the same. We do have Barrier getting past Campanella. And while this was going on, might have had a little bit of a mistake. So Campanella, through those first turns, leading this entire pack, are looking for a send into turn 1. Small tap there. That's Campanella and I believe that's Fry coming together. Fry being able to continue as is, but losing out a place on Barrier and Rakhmatov right after, and Campanella getting that the spin out and losing a position. Fry now as well. Rakhmatov gaining 2 places. Barrier as well. Small contact resulting in both drivers just dropping back. So like I said, it's a two driver fight versus a 2-driver fight. And now the front 2 have gone to the place of the back 2. So it's not really many individual battles as Campanella sends it a little bit too deep, goes a bit too far. And this is 2 positions. Fry going through, or I believe keep the position, and Donk gaining a free one to get up another place up to P15 now. And it's gained 3 places from the start. Great job from Donk. Number 19 car doing a good job from that qualifying. Campanella now down 2 places from where he started. Has gained a few on the start, but now has to defend from Escortia in the number 24 car. Only half a second between the two, and this is what we've seen the entire race basically. This car is within half a second, but not close enough to make some moves. Paduano up 2, wants to make it 3. Brennan in 10th place, looking to defend that final top 10 spot. Half a second between the two. Look to be a little bit closer. Pit window should have opened, and some drivers might be looking to pit, but everyone's still driving in a train from the looks of it. Small margins. 20 minutes into the race, that's what we saw. 1 mistake from Campanella, and he's dropped down about 4 places now. Almost at the risk of losing a 5th one. Picked up the pace a tiny bit. He's got the gap now done. Trying to get that place back from Donk. It's just over a second to do so. Out in front, no one has gone into the pits. No one has decided to make that stop. Schonewald down behind Manzenko. We'll have to slipstream into the first turn. The Ford engine working overtime to get some ground on the number 7 car. Not close enough yet for a send. We'll have to wait for another opportunity where in a race where there aren't that many opportunities. 5th place, not a bad position to be in. But obviously if you're looking ahead and you're just seeing the rear of another car, you know that you've got the pace. You know that if you get past, you can catch up to the next car. But then you're going to have the same issue that you're having right now. You have to get past. And that is what is so difficult. So the pit window is open. But no one is taking it yet. No biters. Already 4 minutes in, 4.5 minutes into the window. About 15 minutes to go. So the drivers have to have made their stop. The pace out in front has dropped down a tiny bit. Not just from Minar, but also from Gasquel. So the gap is about the same. It looks like Minar is just matching pace, which makes it even more likely that he's taken more fuel in that first stint. Trying to match the pace with Gasquel, putting a little bit of pressure on, making Gasquel work for it. But sitting behind prettily, saving some more fuel. And knowing that he can might be able to go on for longer than Gasquel can. Closest fight on the grid as it stands is what we're watching now. Groenewald in P5, trying to get P4 away from Manzenko. But here again, 3/10 is the gap as they head into turn 1. That's after braking. See Paduano and Campanella into the pits. First drivers out. Getting their stops in. We see Knudsen going in as well. So Tadic, Campanella in. Galasai 18th place got Piccolo behind the McLaren. That's lost so many positions from the start. It's gained a few back now from the pits, but still struggling a little bit with the pace of the McLaren. So the first biters for the pit stops. Tadic, Knudsen and Campanella. Campanella obviously having some issues earlier on with those accidents, with that fighting that he's had with Fry. And then Rakhmatov and Berrier just cycling on through. Wanting to take that stop is free now. Tadic right behind. It's going to be on the out now. Will be just slightly ahead. Exiting out in a battle. The stop is about the same time. The total time from Campanella is just a little bit more. So it appears that he's taken a little bit of a repair job on the car. Might have had some things, some feelings on the car that weren't really up to standard with what he wanted. Not the driving position comfortability that he's had. A little bit of a repair. About 4 seconds. Nothing too major. But will take the repair, as we do see, I believe that's Donk going into the pits. And that indeed is Donk. He's gone into the pits. We'll lose all of these positions, but we'll be gaining them back. Gadowski also in, Crush in as well. So a few biters now. Berrier looking on the inside of Rakhmatov, but not close enough. You see, just a few tenths is the gap. But no one's able to make the move. And that's turn 1, the biggest braking zone in this track. And no one's able to send it, even with half a second gap. Crazy and wild. Berrier now within 2 tenths. It's oh so close. A little bit of aero wash into this fast right-hander of Sunset. Difficult corner to gauge as well. When to press the power. How much to engine brake. What gear to get in. It's different with every single car. Every single scenario as well. Qualifying can take a little bit more risk maybe, but in the race you can't at all. Campanella now cycling through the start finish. Will be getting out ahead of everyone else who's in the pit and is currently first in the pitters. P24 for the number 8 car. That's Groenewald. Looks to be stuck behind Manzenko. Just a little bit more. Has been for the past 2 laps. And we do see Brown taking the bait. Going into the pits. This is about halfway through the race. Like I said, a few pitters a little bit early. Now we see a few more. Gadowski slow out of the pits. A long pit stop from him. All the way in last. About 6 seconds to Knudsen that we just saw on the screen. There he goes. It's a big gap for Gadowski to be able to brake. Rakhmatov in as well. Honzik is in. Potch is in. Van der Meer is in. Midfield is all the shuffling that you're seeing at the moment. Everyone is dropping places. Those are the drivers that are in the pits. But out in front, Gasquel's still going. Minar pushing a little bit more. The pace is into the mid-40s. The fastest lap appears to be in the hands of Minar. From my view, Gasquel has got the faster lap from the numbers, but maybe that's one of the invalid ones. So Gasquel might be going into the pits now as we're approaching exactly halfway mark, about 10 seconds, which would be the perfect time for a stop. Let's see, fast right-hander of Cheetah. And Gasquel staying out. Minar staying out as well. No one going in just yet. Manzenko now then. Nope, still not. Everyone's staying out. Delfante maybe. Nope. Also not. Caracas staying out as well. So everyone within the top 6 is now out on the track. And Brown has taken the lead of the stoppers. So Brown quite far ahead of Rakhmatov. Do see a small incident here between Krosh and Donk. Can we see what that was all about? Hit the replay on these drivers. This will be Krosh A small accident. And this should be Donk right behind into the first turn. And that's a small send and a small tap that's sideways. A little bit of a correction there. But nice job recovering from that from Krosh and Donk, of course, giving the position. So that is a nice sportsmanship. Get all of that out of the way. Lots of drivers stopping now in the midfield. Brenham is out of the box. Rossum is in, Berry is in, Piccolo in, Herpa in. Lots of drivers in the box. All very quick stops from the looks of it. Doesn't appear that anyone's changing tires, so this will be a big hit towards the back of this race. A bit of grass and dirt being kicked up by the Ford. Gasquel going in for a stop now. Minar following through, so it's going to be a very close follow. O'Sullivan capitalizing on that. Manzenko in as well. So it's a 5-car train. A 6-car train, I should say, as Caracas is just rounded the corners. As we're looking at your new leader, Eric Del Fante, currently in the lead of the race, as everyone else will be stopping right behind him. We're going to see Fry and Zaza also cycling through. Fry not taking the stop just yet. The number 29 Ferrari of Zaza will be going in. So 2 cars who haven't stopped yet. It's Eric Del Fante and Michael Fry. The number 3 and the number 14 car. The 2 cars still out on the track, but we'll have to see what this is all going to be about, because we do see Minar and Gasquel very close to each other. Gasquel on the right side, both being released virtually at the same time. Gasquel still ahead, and it's going to be side by side almost as they get out of the pits, going to go towards the first turn, but Gasquel keeping the place. Eric Del Fante look to have a white flag, but it's all good. Just have to check in real quickly. Gasquel still in the lead. Minar following in a close second. O'Sullivan third. Manzenko fourth. Groenewald in fifth. So the train has condensed a tiny bit through these pit stops. But nevertheless, it's still the same position. No one has gained and no one has lost. That is, of course, once everyone has cycled through the stops from the mirror. I mean, Zaza is currently the last car to have stopped in that midfield. And out front, we have 2 drivers still needing to go in. It's Del Fante and Fry. So the number 3 car approaching the pit now will not go in. Staying out for a few more laps. We can expect that to happen probably until the end of the pit window, which is about 6.5 more minutes. Minard trying to close the gap, but still, even after those pits, about virtually the same pit stop time. As Fry now jumps into the box as well. We'll lose a bit of time and we'll be going down the positions. Let's see where he ends up in terms of place compared to Campanella and Fodge and Rakhmatov. So we look at the stop times from Gasquel and Minar. 32.4 total time. Identical to each other. And 32.6 from O'Sullivan. So very, very close. And I'm going to look at Fry and Campanella though. It's Campanella in a little bit of a train. Scorsia leading it. Fodge right behind in P15. Campanella P16 now. Fry still in the box. Was part of the fight. The 2 Ferraris. Fry and Campanella. Number 14 and the number 8. And Fry still in the pits. Does not appear to be going very, very fast. Is on the out now. So looks to be a little bit safer than what I thought. That's Rakhmatov going on through. And this will be the place. That's P13 for Fry. He's gained a few places. That's actually a very, very good stop. Great job by Fry. Number 14 car into P13. Still this fight here for P14. A bit of a 3-way battle. Escortia in 14th, Fodge in 15th, Campanella in 16th, all within 3/4 tenths. I see Kalasai trying to join this as well. As you can see in the back end there, he's trying to gain a little bit more. And of course, when you're approaching a train, you'll have the chance to gain some time, as everyone else will be looking for something. We do see Kalasai's car a little bit damaged out in front. The same can be said for Forge's car to the side. That's the right-hand side, courtesy of Jaroslav Honzik. He's currently driving comfortably a little bit further down in 19th place. Trying to chase down Van der Meer, the number 25 car. Trying to fend off the number 5. Delphante is going in now. It's out of the pit lane. See where he ends up. Just right ahead of Brown. Brown will have the speed to go on through, but will Delphante still defend? Yes, he will. That's side by side into the first turn. Delphante with a slightly slower stop, and this is going to be the fight for it. We'll get that position. We'll keep it. Small contact between the two, as you can see on the screen. 2 small contact icons, and that's Delphante. Keeping the place was about 0.3 of a second slower in total for the pit stop. And that's all to do with the total time, as Brown's stop time was a bit slower. So that means Delphante had to put everything on everything to make that stop quicker and to keep P6. Up 2 places from where he started is Eric Delphante. Number 3 car currently in 6th place. Great job. Now he's got about 4.5 seconds to gain until this little battle that we have for 3rd place. This is for the final step of the podium. 22 minutes to go. Everyone has stopped, so the pit window does not really matter anymore. You can still stop, of course, outside of the pit window. It will just not count towards your total pit stop count, to your mandatory pit stop count, which is 1. Everyone's done it, and should all be good. O'Sullivan now, he's got 2 cars in his mirrors. He's going to have both of them filled. One with the Honda and one with Groenewald, his Ford. Had to confirm real quick. Couldn't see that well from the rear. Could definitely see it from the front. So 3-way battle, and O'Sullivan is leading it so far. Groenewald looking at it a little bit, but Manzenko looking even further. Groenewald braking late, but Manzenko braking even later, almost hitting the rear of O'Sullivan. We got some new pace setters on the previous lap. Gascal, a 1 minute 40.0. It's going very quickly. Minar as well, fastest lap of his race, 40.0. It's 0.42 versus 0.87. That's 0.045. Lots of zeros. That is how you know that it's a very small margin between the drivers. Schneeberger now behind Brenham into turn 6. Not really a place you can overtake, but we will have one coming up. The number 13 car is going to be looking ahead. We will actually look at Groenewald just a little bit more. It was really close, really close. We saw the gap go down to a 10th. Just barely not. Manzenko now dropping back a tiny bit. Is that contact between the number 12 and the number 7 car? Small. Look at the replay there. Or this was for turn 1. No, this is not for turn 1. That's turn 6. This is Manzenko here in the Honda. And where is the contact? That's a little bit wide. And there is the small tap between Manzenko and Groenewald. Just giving it the tiniest of hurry up. Groenewald not able to get past now into the first turn. Not close enough to do anything. Just looking to the final few turns. Again, this 3-way battle. Escortia, Fodge, and Campanella. As Honzik seemingly appeared out of nowhere. It wasn't P19. It's now P17. Is on his way to this battle as well. He's got about 2 seconds to beat though. First, Fodge, quick switch towards the inside. Escortia not quick enough to defend. That would have been a reactive move and very much illegal side by side through the first 2 turns. And Escortia keeps the place, but Fodge keeps his nose right in. And that will be turn 4 for the number 15 Ford. That's a place gain. That is one of the only on-track overtakes that we'll see so far. Escortia under fire from Campanella right afterwards. We'll have to defend. A little bit of an inside line taken there. Campanella will have a small look there. He's got his nose on the wrong side of the track. We'll have to make it a long way around. Does so very nicely so far. Still side by side. No margins being given. No margins being gained. Small touch there as well. Campanella knows there's a right-hander coming up. Takes it very, very carefully. And making it the long way around. Making it happen. Scortia down 2 places. Just a few turns. Is going to try and fight back. But Campanella has the advantage of choosing the line into the hairpin. Chooses so very nicely. Takes the position away as well. Forge already a second clear. And chasing down Vrij in P13. It's great moves there from the number 15 and number 8 car. That is Scortia. Feisty and angry, looking to take that position back. Doesn't get it though. So that is Campanella up to P15. Making up some of the places that he's lost through that contact with Vrij into turn 1 a few laps ago. It's a good battling here, good fighting. Out in front, Carcass gaining some time on Brown in that first sector, first few corners. Up to turn 5. Fast right-hander. This is where we saw Fudge make the first few moves, the first looks. Can Carcass do the same? Will look just ever so slightly. But doesn't go for it though. Brown breaking himself a tiny bit. There's Delphante right ahead as well. Fight almost making it 3 cars long. But Brown just not fast enough to keep up with Delphante for now. Onto the hairpin. And then into the downhill. Let's see if Carcass can make something happen. Very fast left-hander. Coming right up. Need all the area you can get. A little bit of a wash, but some more slipstream as it looks like. Brakes right on time. Slots right in. Doesn't go for it just yet. We'll have to wait for a little while longer. Once more, the fight out in front is still just a very carefully laid out plan. Minnaar might be looking for that opportunity because he knows if he gets past now, it's going to be dangerous. There might be contact involved. Just not going for it just yet. Carcass looking. He's in the mirrors, but he's not going for it. So that's B8 still for Carcass and Brown. A little bit of an odd line there to the first 2 turns. Lose a little bit of ground to Carcass, is very, very close. Once again, the same as he was a little bit ago. Might be close enough for it this time around. Still about 1.5 cars length in between the two, which will not be enough for this turn. Delphante can just run away with this. Trying to catch up ahead. It's got 4.5 seconds to do. He catches Groenewald. The fight for P3 has simmered down just a tiny bit. So it shows that Donk has gone up to first, which is unfortunate. And there he's going back. That is a little bit of a UI bug, so to say. And Donk was not in first place there for a moment. That's a small little incident. As we do have our first 39.9. I completely missed the notification on the screen, but Philip Minnaar has gone into the 139.9 on the previous lap. Not on the previous lap, but the lap before that. It's gone on and posted the fastest lap of the race. As Gascal just beat him by just a tiny bit more. It's a 139.937, so they're getting faster and faster. Temperatures are dropping just a tiny bit, 28 degrees on the air, 33 degrees on the track. So we've got about 15 minutes to go, 75% of the race almost completed. 26 laps. That means got a few more to go. About 8 laps until we are done. And Gascal can take home that trophy. But not if Minnaar has something to say about it. Look at that. All the limits being pushed. The grass being touched by the number 4 car. Gascal doesn't have a moment to breathe. Minnaar's really, really making him work for it. And this is probably why they're setting the faster and faster laps every single time. They keep looking for those slight margins, looking to push each other, as we do see Honzig going up to P16. It's in a very unlikely spot. Kind of want to see what happened there, if I can get that replay going. Is that going to be quick enough? Am I quick enough on the fingers? That's on the outside of turn 5, just not quick enough on the replay, but we might have a view from Honzik himself on his own broadcast. If he's live, we'll have to take a look at that afterwards. That is up to P16 for Honzik. Fry now chasing down Rakhmatov, a driver who's been in a few fights, leading the pack, or leading the battle already a few times. Doing so again now against Fry. 4 seconds the gap ahead to Berrier in P11. And there's the send. That's Fry onto the inside from Rakhmatov. Not a single clue that was going to happen, and me neither. Fry has to post it up though, because this Ford has got the engine. This is the only time you'll be able to make that opportunity into turn 1. It's when you're so close. Inside line being taken by Rakhmatov. Fry looking for it just for a moment. Trying to stick his nose towards the outside. Gets pushed and a little bit too far. And Rakhmatov with a great defense. That is the power of the Ford out of that first turn. Amazing defense by Rakhmatov. Great succession of moves by these two drivers. Just enough margins being given, but not enough being grabbed. Fry stuck in P13. Don't think he'll get another chance like that anytime soon. So he'll have to wait and wait and wait. 12.5 minutes remaining. 6 laps to go. 7 laps. I'm working with 2-minute times, but of course these drivers are going way faster. 2 minutes is about the GT4 lap time, as we've had in round 1. Afterwards, everything has been GT3 so far. And we'll have to continue that here at Kyalami. Fry back close to Rakhmatov. Not as close as he was on the previous lap. Let's see if we can make the same move happen again. Feel the spread out a bit more. We see some more bigger gaps. It's all because of those pit stops that we've had really close by Fry now. That's because Rakhmatov takes that cheetah corner. Turn 14, very close. Another move by Fry now into the final turn. That's not going to make one into the turn 1 either, from the looks of it. We'll take the slipstream all the way to turn 1. It's a little bit too far away. You can see how close they are in the final turn, how far away in the next. And Rakhmatov has just disappeared. On the standings, he shows in P1, which is definitely not where he's standing at the moment. And Rakhmatov is out of the race. That is a very weird happening. We just saw that happen with Donk as well. It's going completely out. And now we've seen it with Rakhmatov. So that's unfortunate for Rakhmatov, but Fry, he's got clean air now. Able to fight on through. That's strange happenings here at Kyalami. Definitely should not happen, but of course we'll have to run with it as we go. Knudsen now behind Kroos. Into the second sector on his way to the uphill. Very good run there. Through the little dipper onto the hairpin. Knudsen have to defend, or have to attack. Kroos has to defend on the inside line. Maybe making it the long way around, but parked on that apex. On the exit, still has the place. Knudsen has Colos's side to worry about behind as well. Just a few tenths. It's become a 3-way battle now. And speaking of 3-way battles, we have one again for P3. O'Sullivan has opened up the gap ahead a little bit too much. Looking at Manzenko now in the middle of this. Groenewald right behind as well. The Honda, number 7 in the middle of the pack. And this is where it gets dangerous. This is for the podium position. P3. P1 and P2 have basically been locked in. It's about 4 seconds from O'Sullivan to Minar. So either Gascal or Minar will take the victory. It's Gascal if it keeps up like this, but it's Minar if Gascal makes a mistake in these final 10 minutes. But it will not be anyone else that will take the victory. But it will be a good battle for the 3rd place. O'Sullivan has to fight off Manzenko and Groenewald, 2 drivers hungry for the victory. Manzenko already gained 1 place from the start. He's now looking to maybe gain another. He's getting closer and closer, but like we said all the way at the start of the race, it's very, very difficult to overtake. And the driver ahead will have to make a mistake before you can pass. And O'Sullivan has been driving very, very cleanly. So no drive-throughs being given for anyone. Just say that's a whole new achievement already. So do have Manzenko looking for it. And again, you're so close on the final corner, but absolutely nowhere into the first turn. If we look back at the fight that we were just watching with Knudsen and Crush, we now have Kyalami in this as well. A 3-way battle. And Knudsen is so, so close. Crush with the defensive line into turn 13. Almost being attacked here, but Kyalami has got his nose in. This is the fast right-hander, the difficult turn. Good braking from both of them. Nice restraint from Crush. And Knudsen with the inside line for the final turn. And this is where we have a 3-way battle into the first turn. Crush still ahead. And Knudsen in second place, but Kyalami is so, so close. It's now 3 cars on their way. It was Knudsen attacking Crush, but now it's Kyalami trying to attack. And Knudsen having to defend. No space for an attack. And this is Kyalami looking to gain the place. And still the nose in from Knudsen. Still a little bit further ahead. And Kyalami just not brave enough on the brakes. A small contact, small tap. The rear of Knudsen going a little bit sideways, but still holding on to it. And Knudsen sticking with P22. And that was close. I almost thought that car, that Ford of Knudsen, is going to spin around at the exit of turn 4, but fortunately enough, they all took it very, very cleanly. It's now still that 3-way battle. They can still go on. Hopefully not too much damage. They can continue making this a spectacle to watch. 7 minutes remaining. Lap 25. Whereas I'm having 31 laps already. See Crush dropping down a bit. Was that a mistake? That's Knudsen on through. I was looking at the telemetry. But there we have Knudsen taking the place. Crush not daring enough to take the overtake to get the position back. And Knudsen taking away P21. We'll be looking to run away with this as Crush is now under attack. And that's Kyalami on the attack in that final turn. Onto the back straight. We'll be looking to make it a drag race into the first turn. Crush is still ahead. That Ford just has the power, but will the Ferrari have anything to say about it? Into the first turn. No defensive move from Crush. And Kyalami has to stick it behind. There's no way he gets past now. That Ford on the exits just a bit too strong. The Ferrari has to take that from the fast speed corners. And we all know that there's no way this Ferrari can get past now. Some more fighting going on in the midfield though. Honzik being chased down by Escortia. Van der Meer right behind as well. Honzik in the front with the Honda. Escortia in the Ford right behind them. Another Honda from Van der Meer. Trying to chase down these two. It's, looks like there's a back marker in the middle. Honzik now has to defend from 2 cars. It's currently Escortia in the middle. Trying to gain some time. Once again, the Ford being very fast on the exits of corners. So if he's close enough in the final turn, he might be able to take it towards turn 1 and challenge Honzik for P14. So big ups for Honzik. He was in P19 at the start of this second stint of the race. Now up to 14th. But Escortia not close enough on the mirror neither. Campanellis joined in this fight as well. 4-way battle now for P14. As we see Manzenko drop down a place. That's a position gain from Groenewald. Have to see if I can catch that replay from this fight. So we're looking at Manzenko now. Looks like Groenewald is still behind. So we're heading in to the right hand there. And there's a little bit wide from Manzenko, and Groenewald just able to go freely on through. Manzenko losing the place. That's P4 for Groenewald. Now Sullivan a little bit further up ahead, just able to just take this lead. Manzenko, no way to get past, to get back. He's now looking for a spot to get P4 back, but Groenewald, with that, a little bit too far behind O'Sullivan to set in the attack. So third place might be locked down now as well. So O'Sullivan very happy with the fighting happening behind him. They'll just pull away. He's got 4 seconds ahead of him. No shot. He's going to be catching anyone. And Minar. So just over a second behind Gascal. Probably not able to get close to the number 1 car. It's going to have to settle for P2. There they go. Very quick succession, I should say. Manzenko still looking for something. Doesn't quite get it though. As Honzik is now pulling away from Escortia. Van der Meer in P16. Getting quite close. The Honda looking feisty. Number 25 car. Looking to make a break, but Campanella right behind as well. Still close. Van der Meer wants to look ahead, but is forced to look behind him. He's got a number 8 car right in his mirrors, and it's a Ferrari. It's one that's been through a lot this race. We'll have only a few more laps. A handful. Which is about 2, if you can fit 2 of them in your hands. To make up some of that lost time. And Van der Meer is looking to be defensive as he can be. Onto the hairpin. Is he going to choose a defensive line? He will not. Stick to the right hand side. Knows that Campanella knows that the Ferrari doesn't have the brakes to do this. And Van der Meer just able to take P16 and keep it. Everyone else in the front of the grid pretty spread out. So it doesn't look like there's any more overtakes happening towards the end of the race. Campanella looking just the tiniest bit onto the sides of Van der Meer. Trying to make something happen, but it just does not want to happen. Van der Meer still in the slipstream, which will be his savior. The Ferrari of Campanella. Just not able to make a look. The Scorcia leading Van der Meer like Sainz has led other cars in the DRS like Albon that we had in the Formula 1 Grand Prix of Saudi. Just leading the second car. I don't think these are in the same team, but it's still happening. Leaving a driver in the DRS so you can keep it going as a train. The Scorcia. Just a bit too quick, that Ford. Big car, big engine, big power. Keeping Van der Meer behind. Keeping him close enough so that he can't really get attacked by Campanella, but keeping him far away. And as I say that, Campanella is looking real big in the side mirror. Van der Meer will have to look a little bit better. Moves a little bit towards the left-hand side, indicating, I don't want you to pass. It's not happening. So we do see some side-by-side action. Kalasai and Crush into the hairpin now. Crush has gained the position a little bit earlier, but Kalasai taking it back. And the 21 Ferrari now slow on the exit, and that Ford, once again, the power of that American car, pushing it all the way, and that's a tap to the side. And a warning shot being thrown. Kalasai doesn't have the brakes, and that is over the line, and the position thrown away. Crush up to P22. Kalasai down to 23rd. Some hard racing going on. Some good positions being exchanged. And big contact. Not something we want to see all the way, but Crush now through to P22. Kalasai not being able to make that braking zone. Timer has hit 0, which means that we are on our final lap. Looking at Sam Gasquel. All the glory. Has been in first place. Got the pole position. Fastest lap under his name as well. No one is improving as much as Gasquel has on this race. Final few corners. As the timer hits 0, the checkered flag is out. The final lap is done. Gasquel rounds the final corner. Is going to see the flag and will be the first over the line. Sam Gasquel wins the Kyalami race. Round 4 of the K-Skiing Pro Series. Philip Minnaar close second. O'Sullivan rounds out that podium with Groenewald so close to taking it as well. Monzenko into P5. And we're still going to be looking at this as Campanella and Van der Meer look to have exchanged positions ever so slightly. Small defensive move there from Van der Meer into this final few turns of the final lap. Everyone wants to make it. No one else is as close as these two are. Van der Meer a little bit too wide on these turns. You have to be very careful here. And Campanella just not close enough to make anything happen. And that is Van der Meer keeping P16. Some more drivers being spun out. That's Piccolo having a little moment. The number 17 car. Quickly check the replay on that, because I don't think anything else is going to happen anytime soon. This is Piccolo. Onto the uphill. It's had contact. Really curious to see what's happened here. Would look to be contact, or is this yellow flag? That's just Piccolo going slow. And is that because he's out of fuel? That would be very unfortunate. It has gone back to the pits. And this is where he's standing right now. And this is our winner. So, that's the race over. Only one driver on the track still. That's Kadowski going over the line. We should have our race done with Sam Gasquel being your race winner. Podium being rounded out by Minnaar in second and O'Sullivan in third. The rest of the standings is as is on your screen right now. And that will do it for the Kyalami race. That was one very interesting race. On the one hand, I'd say it's a very incidentful race because of the amount of battles that we've seen, the amount of close battles we've seen, I'd say, or the amount of close racing is more to say than the close battles, but on the other hand, it's been very uneventful, as it's a very difficult track to overtake on, but great big moves in the middle of the pack. Good job by Sam Gasquel for winning. And then Minnaar and O'Sullivan taking out that podium position. Hopefully, maybe the results have already posted or updated. Oh, these are the Paul Ricard's results, and these should then again be... Yes, these are still the old results, and that means that I can't show them yet, and I will have to wait for that until next week when we hit Barcelona for another 60-minute race around Barcelona-Catalunya circuit. So thank you all so much for watching. I've been Olaf, aka Wops Racing. I have been your voice. You can hit follow on the LFM Twitch channel or the subscribe button on the LFM YouTube channel. You can find me as well. I'm linked on the Twitch stream title. If you want to see more of me, you can go over to there and hit follow there as well, if you'd like. And then again, thank you guys all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in one of the next broadcasts. I've been informed there are still interviews to conduct. I've also been informed that I've just been given the permissions to do the interviews. I did not have the interviews permissions, but I will have them now. Oh, that's a lot of people joining. Hello, this is the podium. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Gasquel, Minnaar, and O'Sullivan. Apologies for the for the delay there. I did not assume I had the permissions yet to do the interviews, but you all seem to be joining, finding your way in all by yourself. So first of all, congratulations on the podium. One by one, first to third. How do you guys feel, Pascal? Hold on, Pascal. Can you wait 1 second? I don't appear to have any Discord audio, which is a small issue. There we go. Now it should be fixed. Now you can speak. Apologies.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, last week I did a bit of laps after poor card, and obviously poor card went quite well. And I found a few things in the setup that helped a bit, but nah, this week was much better in my opinion. Car felt a lot better. I myself felt a lot more consistent, and I mean, yeah, Phil was also there pushing me to my absolute limit, to be honest.
It seemed to be a pretty lonely race out in front. Did you have a lot of pressure from behind, or was it just smooth sailing from turn one?
I mean, yeah, there was quite a bit of pressure, but you know, it was controlled pressure. As I know, Philip's my teammate, so he won't say anything that's ridiculous. So I was quite calm, but under pressure, good perform. Pace was good, so yeah, I'm happy.
That's good. Congrats on the win. And from Philip's view, then, Minar, how was controlled pressure? Would you put it the same, or was it a lot of restraint?
Yeah, I was extremely zoned in the second stint. Yes, that first stint I haven't pushed like that in a while, and then the second stint was like even more. So that was a really hard race. Yeah, nothing more to say except that. I mean, I literally I started sweating so much, and I was so zoned in that when a sweat dropped, I like it was like a jump scare to me. Uh, I was extremely zoned in that race. I think Sam just had the upper hand today. He was insanely fast in that second stint. I gave it my all, but yeah, in the end, I made a small mistake into the crocodile, and then yeah, just lost the slip and just kind of gave in to P2.
And I saw on the pit stops as well, was very close on the exit. I thought one of you might go out for a little bit longer. Maybe there was a strategy going on, but you guys went in at the same time, had the exact same stop time, the exact same pit lane time as well, from the looks of it, and exited just within a few tenths. How close was it for you to, or like how difficult was it for you to not send it into the first turn?
Yeah, every driver at the top, if you have this mentality to win, you're gonna want to send it, if you can. But I have a lot of respect for Sam, and I think Sam also has a lot of respect for me. I hope. And moves like that could end up costing us all race. So we always keep that in mind. We've had this exact scenario, I think 5 or 4 times now, where we're on top of each other, and we always, in the first stint, we always build a gap to the people behind us, and then the second stint we push as hard as we can, and it's I guess every man for himself. But yeah, the pit stops are super close. There was a chance, but I don't think I was close enough, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say very spectacular racing by both of you. Although I haven't really watched that much of you two out in front. I've seen sometimes when the gap was down to half a second, 4/10, I would jump in, quickly view a little bit of your fighting. But after that, it appeared to be very well controlled. So congratulations on P2 as well. A little bit less controlled, I should say, in the final stint. That was Sullivan, P3. Congrats. How stressful was that in the final stint?
Yeah, it was quite stressful. I didn't have the best of pit stops. Like, it was okay, but could have been a bit better. But yeah, I wanted to try and maintain like a 8/10 gap just to keep them out of the slipstream. But sometimes they'd close in, and then there was a bit of fighting, which gave me a bit more breathing room, which helped a lot. And yeah, there's the second stint I went through my tires a bit more than the first, but yeah, overall, very happy with P3, and yeah, it was a tough race. I had to keep focused the entire time.
No, I think you caught your lucky break there in the end of that second stint. We saw the cars behind fighting a bit and changing positions, which gave you a little bit more breathing room. Was it all over then? And did you know that you were going to get P3, or was it still full push mode, still full send?
It it definitely helped and eased the pressure a little bit, but it was still full focus. You can't make, like, if you make one mistake, they'll be right back on you again. So it was still full focus to the end, but it definitely did ease the pressure a lot.
Well, that's all I've got to ask for today. Don't think I've got anything else to say. So thank you guys all so much for joining in the interviews. Good racing, congrats on the podium, and hopefully we'll see you again in one of the next events. Hopefully next
Very
week.
much.
Thank you.
All right, see you lads.
Cheers.
Have a good one. Bye bye.
All right, those were all the Discord noises we got for today. Apologies for the quick intrusion of the for me forgetting the interviews. That will not happen again. I'll make a note and remind myself to do the interviews afterwards. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. I've been Olaf, aka Wops Racing. You can find me on the tag at Wops Racing on all socials. If you want to follow, be sure to follow LFM as well. If you want to join these races yourself, you can also go to the LFM platform, lofoyumotorsport.com, and you can sign up, go do some races, and maybe you'll see yourself on the Pro Series one day as well. And that being said, I'm going to run the trailer once more, and then at the end, the broadcast will be over. So hopefully see you again in one of the next ones. Goodbye.